Hello! I've just spent my Christmas money I'm falling over it. I just spent my Christmas money on presents for I want to say for Mr Jenkins, but it's for all the cars really. I'll show you what I got. Because it's not necessarily my money, it's money I was gifted, I thought I'd try some different products. So what have I got? I've got this Poor Boy's car wash. It smells nice. Thought I'd try that. I got black tea cut for Jessie, but we're not ready for that yet. We've got cherry screen wash. Cherry screen wash. Can't get my words out. For Jessie. I got purple polish and wax for Mr Jenkins. Couldn't resist that being purple. And I got some Speedy Shine detailer. I've never used this Car Gods stuff before, so I thought I'd give it a go. And some applicator pads. So I'm going to take this upstairs, get some in a nice hot bucket, and wash Mr Jenkins. Bloody heater boxes. Fuel tank for an Allegro, that's a waiting collection. 2 rear wings for Mr Jenkins. A door for Mr Jenkins. And then we got 2 buckets here. Oh my goodness. And we got headlights and heater fans. Lego Club regalia. Junk. Well, it's not junk, because that's all packaging for eBay stuff. It's an absolute mud bath here. There's not really any point in washing the car, but I'm going to. And this is one of these weird expanding hoses. Oh my goodness, the mud. It's disgusting. Oh, hang on, it's switched on. There we go. The hose expands. It's a bit creepy really when you watch it. There we go. It just it's quite good really. It doesn't get knotted up. It doesn't kink. And when I go to store it, I just bundle it in that bucket, which is normally dry, but there's a leak in that shed and I put the buckets underneath. And then you just plug it in, switch it on, and it sort of comes to life. And then when I want to put it away, I just leave the hose switched on, turn the tap off obviously, and it all sort of shrinks back down to itself. I don't know why I'm so exhausted. So I'm very unfit, so there'll be lots of huffing and puffing. There's a problem with this hose. It's a bit worn out, so the end likes to pop off sometimes. And I believe conventional hose pipe fittings don't fit this funny hose, so I just have to sort of live with it and just be careful that it's a ticking time bomb. Stay. So that's the hose ready. This is Mr Jenkins. He's just been out. We've just been out to the post office, and we went to the motor factors and got some of me all my little gifts, my car shampoo and that. So we're going to give him a little bath because he's pretty minging. Lyndon took him down the unit not long ago, and it's down a farm track, so he is rather dirty. His paintwork's not brilliant at the moment, so I don't mind abusing him. Look. There we go. Shows you how dirty he is. Disgusting, Mr Jenkins. I always like the way when you go so fast, all the dirt and water, the dirty water, sort of goes around the sidelight lens and makes a pretty pattern going up the side of the wing. If you can see it. It's like aerodynamics, you know. He's not terribly grubby, but it's not good having him sat in that garage all dirty, is it? I mean, he's rotting away anyway, as I showed in a previous video. But as you saw in the shed, there are replacement wings. This wing's terrible, isn't it? It's really bad. He's getting off and walking by itself. We'll wash him. We'll give him a good wash. Oh yeah, and the normal problem. Blimmin' condensation in the reverse light. Always. I just can't, I mean, stop it. Someone did recommend something the other day. I can't remember what it was. I don't know if it was Vaseline or something they used, or bicycle in a tube. I can't remember now. I need to look back, see what it was, and see if it works. It's been cold out here, I must say. It really is cold. I must be mad. Anyway, let's get this done. You can stay in there, you. You're dirty as well. And that's filthy, that thing, but I'm not washing that. Actually, the cleanest vehicle I've got is the Land Rover. We have head cam installed. So it's time to give Mr Jenkins a bath. So what are the first things you should do when cleaning a car or cleaning a P6? Check everything's closed. Check your windows are closed, everything's closed, boots shut, fuel caps down, that's closed, although this looks a bit like it's open, it's closed. And then the other thing to check that's closed is, in here, is your heater vent. So go in the cab, I've already done mine, but make sure that you have that up. That means the top vent on the heater is closed, so no water or anything can get in there if you're spraying in with a hose. You might find on yours, if you haven't checked it lately, that the top vent flap is either stuck closed or more commonly stuck open, so you might want to think about in the future getting in there and checking its opening and closing, and unsticking it and freeing it up. I mean, it might be too late, might be that the lever mechanism's worn out, but definitely one to check, because if you're hosing or jet washing the car, water can get in there, rot the box, and you could get water in the footwell as well. Because obviously the way it's designed here, if it rains, the water can't get in on the vent, the way it's designed. But if you're sticking hose in there, you're going to get it wet. So first thing you do is check everything's closed. Second thing you do, or I'd recommend, is where you've got all this loose crap, you don't want to rub that into the paintwork, so I would get the hose and hose off any loose stuff. I mean, if you're really eager and you've got really nice paintwork that you really don't want to ruin, I would get another bucket, just, you know, water and a cloth, and just wipe the lower part of the car to get any of that loose stuff off, and wipe downwards, wipe it away. But Mr Jenkins' paintwork's not amazing anyway, so we'll just go along, wet him up, wash all this loose stuff off. Now I've got quite rubbish door seals on mine, and if I squirt too hard in here, the water goes in on the seats, so I'll only just give that a light dusting over the top. I certainly wouldn't use a high-powered jet wash. It's always worth hosing off in the wheel arches as well. You don't have to go too mad. Excuse me sniffing, it's very cold. So I got a bit of a runny nose. I sound really fed up, don't I? I'm not fed up. I'm just really cold, and I'm wondering why the hell am I doing this? But hey, it's Christmas. It's not now. It's all gone, thank God. But I'm spending my Christmas money, or I've spent my Christmas money on products for the car, so I'm going to use them. Looks better already. Okay. So that's all the loose debris fired off of him. I miss the days when I used to be able to throw that hose on the floor. It's probably why it's broken. If I throw it on the floor now, I just end up with a face full of water, which will probably be fun for the camera. The camera's waterproof. So, oh my goodness, I tell you what. This bucket of water is lovely and hot. I read the instructions on the car shampoo, and it was in American. It said to put 1 ounce of shampoo into 2 litres of water. Well, I wasn't going to go and get the scales out, so I just squirted a load in a bucket and hoped for the best. So always work from the top. So I clean the top first. Oh. Wash that cold water down and away, because the roof slants, so tend to wash it to the back. Now, there's probably not a lot of dirt on the roof, so we don't have to go too mad. I just go in nice straight lines, really. I try and avoid doing that, because you end up with sort of swirly scrub marks. Only do that if it's really dirty, like proper dirty. So I do the top first, which means, to me, roof and windows, that's the top. So I do the top first. And then you rub. Don't forget to clean the rubber on the wipers, and clean them. And then clean under here in this valance. Now this is where the water can get into the heater box, you see, so that's why it's best to close it. Of course the summer's always fun, isn't it, because there's loads of dead flies on the screen and stuck around the wipers. So we have a good old dig in there. This is lovely and soapy, and the sponge is still nice and warm. See, it's steaming up now, look. See, when you've got old rubbers, you'll find that the burping, you'll find the old rubbers sort of emit black stuff on the sponge, and it's quite disgusting. But I got new rubbers. Right, that's that top side done. So we're going for a fresh soap up. Oh, squeaky clean. So we wash the cold water away. There we go. My neighbour's coming back. He's going to think I'm mad with a camera on my head. Hello, John.
Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas. Yeah. I got a new camera for Christmas, so I'm trying it out.
Ah. I wondered what I was on your head.
I know.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
Right, let's go for a rinse again. Again, I wouldn't recommend spraying it directly into the grill. Spraying it down is fine. Make sure you get the little chin rinsed off. Okay, we're getting there. I'm getting knackered here. Ah, quick warm of the hands. Ooh, that's lovely. Who doesn't like a soapy bucket? Right. There we go. Unfortunately, you missed the last bit. I say last bit, you've missed quite a bit of it because my battery died. What a fool. I forgot to put it on charge last night. So I've scrubbed both sides. I say scrubbed, I've soaked it up with the sponge. I've washed it all off. Now what I like to do before drying is, because you never know, you know, when I've washed a wing, you get a few suds sort of splash up into corners and things. So I just rinse the whole car all over again, top to bottom. Just rinse it all off, make sure everything's all off. And again, keeping that hose pointing down. Most boring video in the world. Showing you how to wash a car. It's like teaching you to suck eggs. I never found out why Grandma likes sucking on eggs. I personally don't enjoy sucking on eggs. I'd rather have them scrambled or fried, and then I chew them. See, this is the sort. I've done the wheels, by the way. I've scrubbed the wheels and the tyres. It's the last thing you do. Yeah, I've been singing to myself whilst I've been doing this. That's sad, isn't it? I was singing Jefferson Airplane, High Flying Bird. I could sing it for you on the camera, but it's probably quite embarrassing. I just find it therapeutic to sing whilst I'm working sometimes, but I don't tend to like having people around while I'm doing that. No, I definitely don't want to sing to you. If I ever do, it's by mistake because I forgot you there. But And the hose didn't explode on me, which is amazing. That was the first. Now when it comes to drying, good old fashioned leather chamois, always a favourite with classic car people. I see you. Smudgy. Hello. You come to say hello? Did you nearly get wet? Where are you? Here you are. Oh. Oh, lots of meows. And this camera can hear you, which is amazing. You good boy. Do you want to go in? He wants to go in. There's Lyndon. Come on in. You right, Lyndon? Oh. Bum.
Yeah.
Lyndon's rebuilding his carburettors on his Sunbeam, and one of his butterfly screws has given up the ghost. Pardon me. You can let Smudge in. Okay, so back to the car. So when I drive my car, I either get in it and drive it very fast, so all the water flies off of it, which isn't ideal because to do that I need to drive it through a muddy puddle, so it seems pointless. My favourite tool, if I've got it, I mean I've got it, I just don't know where it is. Let's have a look. By the time I actually found the bloody thing, the car's probably dry. I use one of these. It's a squeegee rubber blade. I know some people don't like them. They say, oh, scratchy, scratchy, but it's a nice clean rubber blade. I've not had a problem with it. You know, as long as you clean the car properly, you can do this. Hope you can see on the camera. Look at that. Get rid of all that water in a few little swipes. It's flexible, so it moulds to the car, you know. And then once I've done that, I've got a drying cloth, a couple of drying cloths of different materials. Got a waffle one, and I've got a big microfiber one. And of course, you know, leather's good, chamois. But I like to use this first to get the majority off. And that squeaky noise you can hear, that's squeaky clean, isn't it? Squeaky clean. And you can just flick all this water off. I would not use this if, say for instance, right, I went out for a drive now and it rained and I come back. I would not use this because rainwater is dirty. Well, you know, you pick up stuff on the road and that, and you could be rubbing all the particles into the paint. But I know this is spotlessly clean paintwork now because I've just cleaned it. And you get a load of water trapping around the letters. You can see why they ditched that idea on later cars and went for just a piece of aluminium with it printed on. It's easier to clean, isn't it? Less of a rust trap. You're falling off my head, by the way. It's because my hair's slippery, it's too clean. So again, you know, you do the top first, work your way along. It's so cold, this will probably start freezing. So you don't have to go mad with it, you don't have to be perfect getting every drop off, but you can get all these blobs off. So when you do go to use your cloth, you're not soaking it, not wringing it out all the bloody time. I wouldn't push too hard, you know. You know, you're just gently flicking it all away, and of course you've got the funny shape of the bonnet, so you'll get bits that don't want to flick off. And then the bumper, give that a flick off. Well, it's giving me a little workout today anyway, isn't it? You flick all that off of there. Get a bit violent with it, why not? I've been washing my car and drying it like this for years, and it hasn't damaged the paint. The thing that's damaged the paint is the rust. And that's nothing to do with me. That's just poor repairs on old poor panels. Cost cutting. When I get my new panels all done, they're really going to be well protected and they're rot free. So they'll be indestructible until someone drives into me again, like they always do. Twice, in case you didn't know, people, twice Mr Jenkins has had someone drive into him. First time was the passenger side. That made a right mess. That wrote him off. Bent the B-pillar. I've had that jacked out. That's why all the doors don't look like they've shut properly, because you can't really adjust them. The car's just all bent, you know. That was a bit rubbish, wasn't it? Not only did I run out of battery, but I've run out of memory on the memory card now. But I've got a new memory card coming, a much bigger one, so hopefully we won't have that problem again in the future. And the battery, I don't know, I'll have to investigate on that one. I think it's just purely my fault for not charging it up enough. I've been a bit lazy. So yes, I had to cut the filming short. I had to take the camera off of my head, which I'm quite happy about anyway. So, drying cloths. One of my drying cloths is not dry because it was out in that storm last night. This is the one. It looks shit. It needs a wash. But it's a waffle one, and I really like that one. That's my favourite one. But it's all wet and minging. I've got a few of those, but they're all a bit crap. So I've got this one, which is a massive drying towel, a microfiber one. I've got one here, and I've got one hanging up here as well. But that's Peggy's. My neighbour again. So yes, once you've I'll flip you around, hang on. Once you've flicked all the water off with the blade, then you can just go around with your towel and mop up all your little water droplets and go around all your intricate bits, like your washer jets, down these creases, up there, mirrors, you know, clean around your mirrors. I've only got one hand now, so I'm going to stop this in a minute. You can get down here and do your wipers, buff up the chrome. It's all nice and clean because you just cleaned it, didn't you? You know, look at that. It's all coming off lovely, and I ain't got to keep wringing out the blooming cloth because I've flapped it all off with the rubber. There you go. So once I've gone round with a cloth and dried off all the external pieces, I'll then open all the doors and I will wipe all of this off. I'll wipe all of those, all the door shuts on the base unit and on the doors. See, all this is all wet here. I'll give all that a wipe. The tread plates a wipe. Give the tops of these a wipe, but I would get a second cloth on that. I'd get a manky cloth because that is going to be dirty. Because you never, unless you open the door and clean it with a sponge, it's always dirty. You know, I'll clean all that. I'll get that dirty cloth that I clean that. I'll get an old dirty cloth to clean that, and under the doors, dry them off. And I'll use the dirtyish cloth as well to then wipe under the bonnet, open the bonnet, wipe under there, any water that's got under, and wipe the boot shut. and around there. And yeah, normally I would go for a drive just to get if there's any water sat in places. So you'll get water pooling in places like that. Under the boot lid where that shuts down, you get water pooling. I would then just drive around the block a bit just to whoosh any trapped water out of any orifices. Is that the right word? No. Crevice. Why am I so out of breath? Yeah, so he looks a lot better, doesn't he? I might just show you afterwards when I've dried him off. Probably be dark by then. I don't know if you ever get it, but when you got sort of dry skin on your finger and thumb and that, and you're touching a microfiber cloth, and you get that. Can you hear it? It makes me want to lick my thumb and get rid of the dryness of it. Ooh. Yeah, I get the same feeling with sandpaper. Like sometimes I just cannot touch sandpaper. I hate that. I hate that feeling. I hate it. Must be an OCD thing or something. Yeah, that's better now I've licked it. That's better. So, I'll flip the camera around again. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Mr Jenkins. Looking drier. Clean and drier. Not completely dry, but drier. So, I'm quite impressed with that shampoo. It has come up well. So I've just dried the chrome tops with my drying cloth. But now I'm going to do all the door shuts. So I just got another little sort of shitty cloth, as I call it, just to sort of go over these bits. I mean, as you can see, I'm not proud of the paintwork in here. It's it's where repairs have been done and it's been touched up and that. You know, just dry off all these pieces here. You can see there's some rust coming through that I'm going to have to treat in the summer. So just give all these bits a good drying, get all the moisture out, go under the door. I bet that's minging under there because dirt gets up under there, look, gross. That's what I said, go and get a shitty cloth, rub the top of that outer sill cover, get down between the rubber, there's bound to be moisture in there. I think that's a lot of the problem, is when these cars were sort of new, they didn't get this sort of attention. The door shuts didn't get dried, you know, so they were just sort of put away in a garage or sat on the driveway after a wash or a drive in the rain and never got dried. So the moisture just sort of sat in these places and rotted them out. I say I'm guilty as charged, in the sense of, you know, I come home after driving him in the rain and he sits in the garage. I keep the door open, but he sits in the garage, in a damp garage. There's not a lot I can do about it, you know. It's that or sell him, and I ain't selling him, so I'm sorry, Mr Jenkins, but you just have to live with your... Look, I buggered this carpet up. I pulled it off and half the carpet ripped. I'm a bit annoyed about that. Never mind. Not the end of the world, is it? You know, I've seen a lot worse. I could ask Josh at Tech Autos to cut me a new piece. I'm sure he'd do that for me. I'm sure I wouldn't have to buy a whole set, because the rest of the carpet's mint, you know. I not long ago bought it from him, but I messed that up, I did. It's my fault. Anyway, you don't need to see me keep going along and drying all the doors. I'll cut back in a bit. Okay, all door shuts and doors are dry. Now we've got to dry off the boot. So open it up, dry all the edges under the reflectors of Series 1. Okay. Make sure they're dry. My boot's a little bit of a shit tip at the moment because I did have a nice false floor in there, but Lyndon sat on it and it broke. My stepdad made it out of wood, but he sat on it, it broke, and then all the wood got damp and warped. So I've chucked it now. Sorry, Paul, but it's knackered now. So hopefully, maybe you or Lyndon can make me another one, because I definitely enjoyed having that false floor in there. It was handy storing stuff underneath, and then having that big flat space to put my shopping on. So he will be getting a false floor at some point, and then a nice bit of black carpet, hopefully, along with my nice multicoloured fluff. If my camera can focus on it, look at that. Yes, I like my fluff. So yeah, dry in here, because this all gets minging. You know, no use sitting there keeping it all wet. Dry this little ledge here from underneath, because that will sit there with the moisture in. All the moisture gets trapped under this ledge. You'll find after you've gone round the block, a load more water will just shoot out from nowhere. under the bonnets. Another, I've got hiccups or something, or burps on them. Too much food. Under the bonnet, don't forget to dry under here, because a lot of moisture gets trapped. So do your edges, because otherwise you get a wet drip on your head. And then what I would do is I'd get in here and see here, look, it's all wet. You can't reach any of this from you know, with the bonnet closed. So get in there, whoosh all this water out, dry it. I think this cloth's pretty soggy now, so I'm going to have to get a better cloth to dry that off. Do that, both sides, and then you can do along this top of the wing. Flick all that off, and then get the top of the inner wing as well, and wipe all that down. You can give the wing tops a bit of a clean while you're under here. Get away any dirt, dust, or water. In the front, do the radiator, make it all look pretty. If you're really feeling adventurous, you know, use the cloth to give the rocker cover a little wipe and the air cleaner a bit of a wipe. Oh my goodness, that's disgusting. Yeah. Gross. Yeah, well, that's it really. That's all I can recommend. And then I'm going to start him up, get him nice and warm, get the heater blowing, make sure there's no moisture inside the car, and happy days. Well, hopefully that didn't bore you too much. I can't believe how unfit I am though. Dad won't be impressed. We were meant to go for a walk today. I'm kind of glad. Sorry, Dad. I'm kind of glad we didn't, because I'd just be going. Yeah, thanks for watching me wash Mr Jenkins. Don't forget to put the hose away and the bucket. Bye.